In this short video, we're going to look at how you can add RAG-ratable criteria, so criteria that you can indicate as red, amber or green, into an abacus that already has criteria. So the template we're going to start with is actually a template based on the new Ofsted toolkit. So I'll start a new abacus and I'll choose the relevant Ofsted toolkit, this one here for state-funded schools. We could use any of the templates, it's the same principle. So I open the abacus, and if I show you the criteria that's already in here, you'll notice that actually we've got a table of gradings. Okay, this makes sense because the new toolkit has these gradings and schools can use these to help with their reflection and their self-evaluation. They're also the aspects that inspectors will look at when they come into the school. But what we don't have here are any indicators for evidence that we might have in place, because in the abacus, evidence comes in the next stage. But if we look at the toolkit, we'll see here that we've got the section on inclusion. We have the grade descriptor or the gradings, but actually also what we've got here are indicators of what type of evidence Ofsted will look for, what they'll gather and what they'll consider. And it could be that actually this makes good RAG-ratable criteria for the abacus. So what I'll do is I'll open up this toolkit in a separate tab. Okay, over here I've got the Ofsted toolkit, and if I go to open it, it'll open in a PDF and I'll see it just here. Okay, and we can go to the first section. We're going to ignore safeguarding because it comes under a kind of a two grading of met and not met, whereas inclusion has the levels. So let's look at inclusion, and if we go down to this section we'll see the evidence statements as such. Okay, so what I'm going to do here is just copy this first one. Okay, so leaders understand that most effective inclusion blah 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 blah. Okay, I'm going to copy that and I'm going to put it as some RAG-ratable criteria inside the abacus. So I go back into my abacus. Okay, this is it unedited. I've already put a bead on here, but that's fine. Okay, I'm going to click on Customise. That's going to open up the abacus and allow me to customize the levels across the top, the criteria behind the bead and what's down the left hand side. I'm going to click on inclusion. Okay, it's not going to be some of the basic information that I'm going to edit, it's actually going to be something in the options. So I click on the options, and if I go down here you'll see that I've got the ability to enter statements that are to be RAG-rated on the review criteria screen. So just after you've made a judgment, it will prompt you with these RAG-ratable statements. So what I can do is I can paste in some of those evidence identifying statements. So I'm going to change it and capitalize it because it won't appear in the same format as it does in the toolkit documentation. And I'm just going to go back and take some more of these statements. Okay, so I'm going to take the second one, I'm going to put it in as a second statement. Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning. You wouldn't necessarily have to do this, but I prefer to do it. Okay, that's the capitalization. Then I'm going to take the next one. Okay, it's probably easier if I just take it from there and then go back into here, type L and put it in. Take the next one. Okay, so what you can see here is I'm building up a bank of RAG-ratable statements. Okay, we'll just finish, we'll put all of these in, it shouldn't take us too long. Okay, so I'm just copying these, I'm going to put them into the customization. I need to add another statement and I can just do that here. So we'll add the final statement here. Okay, and then we'll just capitalize that. There we go. So we've now got some statements. If I wanted to, I could go further into this documentation and I could pull out all these additional ones as RAG-ratable statements. Okay, I might prefix them with a word. So I might say this one I might prefix it with the word identifying. This one I might say supporting disadvantaged pupils. I might put send as a prefix. What I mean in here is I might say actually send hyphen, and I might put kind of, if this was a very particular RAG-ratable statement in a section, I might prefix it, okay? But just for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm just going to leave those as they are. So just to recap what we did, okay, and you must remember to click continue at the bottom, okay? Just to recap, I opened up an Abacus. It doesn't have any RAG-ratable criteria. I clicked on Customise. I went into the area that I want to edit, in this case inclusion. I looked at the options, and when I scroll down in the options, I get the ability to add in some RAG-ratable statements. Okay, let's have a look at how that now functions inside the Abacus. So, you make a judgment by sliding the bead. We know how to do that. We go into the criteria, and of course we've got the gradings. They've always been there. But now when I scroll down, I've actually got this additional set of RAG-ratable statements. And it means that I can actually make judgments against the different evidence that we might have in place. Okay. Some of these things, obviously, we might still need to work on. Some of them might be red. Some of them might be amber. When you've got a RAG-ratable statement, you can also click on the little pencil icon or the pen icon, and you can add a note or indeed a file. So it could be this is something you're doing quite well, effectively. You could either comment on it or upload some evidence against that criteria. Now, if I just go back to Customise, I think I forgot to tick a box, and I'll show you which box I forgot to tick. Okay, so I'm back into the options. I'm going to scroll down to the RAG-ratable criteria, and the box that I want to tick is, I can't see it, here it is. Show these RAG-rated statements on the PDF reports. Okay, because when I export the PDF document, the PDF report, I want to show these. So let's tick that, and let's go back into that Abacus. If I'd now used this, I might slide other beads on here. I might add some criteria to the statements behind here too. But when I export this as a PDF document, what I'll have is my judgment for inclusion. But notice now, I don't just have the judgment, I also have the RAG-ratable statements, and I've RAG-rated them. And if I had additional evidence or commentary or files, they'd be linked in here. So we keep it nice and simple to start with the Ofsted toolkit. We don't actually include all of the criteria in the evidence into the RAG-ratable sections, but with a click on the Customise icon, up here, into the section, into the options, you can paste in any of these RAG-ratable statements that you want. And you might use the Ofsted toolkit, but you might use your own trust criteria if you're part of a multi-academy trust. You might even have school-based criteria that you've come up with in discussion with your senior leadership team. So I'll leave that with you. If you need any support on this, please use the live chat. That will go through to my colleagues who will provide support, or give us a call or book an online training session to have this looked at in more detail. Thank you very much.